lovely group of people here. Welcome to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert, and I am so... I feel the same way. I feel the same. I agree. Woo! I agree. It's wonderful to be back. We had a little time off.
Great to be back.
Had a couple special shows earlier this week, thanks to all the guest hosts who came in here. Jon Stewart, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Charlemagne the God, Kerry Washington, and Jake Tapper last night. I was the guest. It was a pretty good guest.
Yeah,
okay guest.
Good guest. Good energy.
I'd book me again. And I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving while we were off. Of course, now we kick off a very special season. We're all waiting for that magical man to check his naughty and nice list because Mueller Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're tweeting. He knows your hair is fake. He knows when you've been bad or bad because you're bad for goodness sake. You're bad. Because it looks like the Russia investigation is headed into high gear. Let's start with former Trump campaign chairman and Ray Liotta in the role of a lifetime, Paul Manafort. Manafort, he flipped on Trump months ago, a couple months ago. He flipped on the man. But Monday, Mueller told us that Manafort breached his plea deal by repeatedly lying. What?
What? What?
Are you saying you can't trust Paul Manafort with a face like this? Yes, officer. Yes, officer. The stolen goods are in my basement. Do go down and watch those stairs.
That dog don't hunt.
Mueller's team says that Manafort's lies relieved them of all of the promises made in the plea agreement, but that Manafort cannot withdraw his guilty plea. So he's put himself in even deeper doo-doo than before. This can mean only one of two things. One, he's afraid to rat on the Russians because he has a lifelong dream of continuing to live. Or,
I'll be around.
Yes. Got it. Yes, he's got this bucket list of not ending up in a series of buckets. or the other option, the other possibility here of why he was lying, and I can't believe I'm saying this, because it's crazy. He's expecting Trump to pardon him. But we heard about Trump dangling a pardon last year, didn't we? And why didn't Trump do it then? Well, as Einstein once said, check the out. Because... he said it at some point, I'm sure. Because we just learned that while Manafort was pretending to cooperate with Robert Mueller's investigation, this whole time he was also feeding information to Trump lawyer and man demonstrating the correct way to eat a baby, Rudy Giuliani. It's like corn on the cob. Yesterday, Rudy said that Manafort's legal team gave him regular briefings about the questions Special Counsel Robert Mueller and his investigators were asking. So the fix was in, baby. It was the long con. You do this, you get a pardon. One tiny hand washes another. Remember, Paulie, snitches get stitches, but a friend-o-me gets clemency. Trump was asked... When was he asked this? Yesterday was Trump asked this? Trump was asked yesterday whether he planned to pardon Manafort. And listen to what he didn't say. Let me go off the record because I don't want to get in the middle of the whole thing. At some point, I'll talk on the record about it, but I'd rather not. So am I going to help Manafort off the record? That's a big fat yes. On the record, Manafort is a very good man. I've never met, no collusion. I weigh 239 pounds, and I have never tasted human flesh. Unless it's very well done with some ketchup. And Manafort really needs that pardon now more than ever because yesterday, Britain's The Guardian broke the story that allegedly Manafort also held secret talks with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange in the Ecuadorian embassy. If this is true, that means the world's palest man met the world's shadiest man. The Guardian's...
Your light up there. You know, it'll pale you.
In this article, the Guardian sources allege that Manafort went to see Assange around March of 2016, around the time he joined Trump's campaign. Okay, that looks bad, but only because it is very bad. Manafort denies involvement in the hack and says the claim is 100% false. Assange is fighting back. WikiLeaks tweeted that they were willing to bet The Guardian $1 million and its editor's head that Manafort never met Assange. I'm so innocent, I'm going to cut your head off, mate. And I'm going to feed it to Donald Trump because he eats human flesh. And Manafort's not the only campaign crony out there who may have been wiki-curious. So was Trump confidant and open-casket American Roger Stone. We just learned from court filings that Mueller has an email exchange between Stone and his pal, conspiracy theorist and defrocked Oompa Loompa Jerome Corsi. You'll remember that WikiLeaks released their first batch of emails during the Democratic Convention on July 22nd, 2016. Then, on July 25th, Stone sent Corsi an email that read, "Get to Assange at Ecuadorian Embassy in London and get the pending WikiLeaks emails." You don't put that in an email, you dummy. You gotta use code names. What do you think? Mr. Bond, you are now a secret agent. Your code name is 00 James Bond Secret Agent. Then, 8 days, huge Bond fans. Then, 8 days after the first email, Corsi wrote back to Stone, word is, friend in embassy plans 2 more dumps, one shortly after I'm back, second in October, impact planned to be very damaging. Not as damaging as this email will be later to me, Jerome Corsi, but still, pretty bad. Trump had wide-ranging interview yesterday. Was it just yesterday? The same interview or different interview? Different interview. This was with the Washington Post? Okay. So yesterday he had a wide-ranging interview with the Washington Post, and in it he complained at length about Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell and explained that he knows better than Powell. I'm not happy with the Fed. They're making a mistake because I have a gut. And my gut tells me more sometimes than anybody else's brain can ever tell me. Wow. I agree. I totally agree.
Man, that's what...
Totally agree. That quote about trusting your gut over the brains of experts remind me of someone I used to know. Me. Because when I played a conservative pundit on my old show, The Colbert Report, I talked about that on the very first episode. That's where the truth comes from, ladies and gentlemen. The gut. Do you know you have more nerve endings in your stomach than in your head? Look it up. Now, somebody's gonna say, I did look that up and it's wrong. Well, mister, that's because you looked it up in a book. Next time, try looking it up in your gut. Trump stole my bitch! Knock it off! Did you see that? Did you see that?
That man stole your bitch.
Goodness! What's next? Is he going to drop the character and do a nightly monologue? All right, Getty, all right, Getty. This is harder. It's going to take me a while to drop the character. Get ready for tonight's Stormy Watch. That's copyright infringement. That is clear copyright infringement. He is stealing my anti-intellectual property. So tonight, I am officially announcing that I am suing Donald J. Trump for stealing my old character. Yeah. No, official. It's official. You can't take that back.
Come on now.
You better lawyer up, buddy, and somebody better than Rudy Giuliani, too. Because I will win using the precedent set by the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in the landmark case, First Aunt Vivian v. Second Aunt Vivian. We got a great show for you tonight. Eric McCormick is here. But when we return, more Donald Trump. Stick around. Good to see you again. Good to see you again, my friend. You know, John, we got Eric McCormick. He's here tonight.
Yes, indeed.
From Will and Grace. You know him. You know him from Will and Grace, and then later from Will and Grace.
Yeah, he came back.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's done a lot of other things too.
Yes.
But he's run the gamut from Will and Grace to Will and Grace.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it.
Incredible.
Come back full circle, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, good. 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 Have you seen the show?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character?
I like Will.
Me too.
Yeah.
I love Will.
Will's the best.
That's why we're having Will on tonight.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, and I think we've already gone too far, I want to give a shout out to chef and philanthropist Jose Andres. This fellow right here.
Jose Andres.
Chef Dre, as he's asked me specifically not to call him, was just on the show last week promoting his charity, World Central Kitchen. After a natural disaster like Hurricanes Maria or Florence or Michael or the wildfires in California, Jose and his team at World Central Kitchen, they swoop in and they provide hot, nutritious meals to people who are rebuilding. In Puerto Rico alone, he and his team provided almost 4 million meals. Unfortunately, while 4 million. That's amazing. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, while he was there, Donald Trump ate 2 million of them. Okay. So that's why he needed all those paper towels. So I was so pleased to learn today that Jose Andres has been nominated for the 2019 Nobel Peace Prize. That's pretty amazing.
That's amazing, man.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, he was here.
Right there.
Yeah.
Now remember, Jose, keep this in perspective. It's an honor just to be nominated, so don't throw a tantrum when you lose to John Oliver. And the best part about this news is that everybody out there knows that 100% of the proceeds of our book, Whose Boat Is This Boat?, go to charities including World Central Kitchen. So by the transitive property of giving, I believe, check my math on this, if he wins, he has to share the Nobel Prize with everyone who bought the book. So if you haven't bought a copy, get a copy, okay? It's like the lotto. You got to play to win. All right. Congratulations. Wonderful.
Yeah,
that's great.
Baby, play to win out here.
Now, folks, while we were gone, the White House published a devastating climate change report that predicts crop production will decline, food and waterborne illness will spread, it will be hard to breathe, and more of us will die. More of us? They know we all eventually die, right? Do some of us have to die twice now? This report is an urgent call to fight climate change. So naturally, the Trump White House released it the Friday after Thanksgiving. They actually hid it in a Tupperware with the leftover green bean casserole. No one's opening that thing. The onions are no longer crispy, so who cares? But some nosy Nelly reporters out there actually got it and read it, and some had questions for the president.
Mr. President, have you read the climate report yet?
I've seen it. I've read some of it, and it's fine.
Fine? If I had to describe this report in one word, it would not be fine. It would be a different word that begins with F. As in, if you don't believe in climate change at this point, you are fined in the head. Now, the next day, Trump doubled down on his climate denial, telling the Washington Post, one of the problems that a lot of people like myself, we have very high levels of intelligence, but we're not necessarily such believers. Sir, when it comes to your high level of intelligence, we're not believers either. And the president had some old-fashioned ideas about what's happening with our climate, saying, if you go back and look at the articles, they talked about global freezing. They talked about, at some point, the planets could have freeze to death. Everything he believes is from old magazine articles. It doesn't work that way, sir. Nick Nolte was the sexiest man alive in 1992, but since then, he too has been ravaged by coastal erosion. Okay? The science is in. But maybe the best part of the entire interview was his explanation of how climate works. You look at our air and our water, and it's right now at a record clean. But when you look at China, and you look at parts of Asia, and when you look at South America, and when you look at many other places in this world, including Russia, including just many other places, the air is incredibly dirty. And when you're talking about an atmosphere, oceans are very small, and it blows over and it sails over. I have heard better explanations of weather from toddlers on Benadryl.